Hello gamers from around the world, this is Archimedes, the video game enthusiast from Germany, with another opinionated video. Friends, in only a few months we will be able to play the next gen consoles in our homes, and that's why I can smell the next gen excitement in the air. We know quite a lot of things about the upcoming consoles, design, hardware specs, features and some of the games. But as much as we know, there are still many unanswered questions like, will the PlayStation 5 actually fit into my gaming setup? Or is this guy trying to sneak his way into the Xbox dashboard with Facebook gaming? As you can see, the gaming industry is riddled at the moment. We don't know officially about backcompat or smart delivery on the PlayStation 5. We also don't know about the first party games from the Xbox Game Studios, nor do we know about the launch date and price of the upcoming consoles. If you are interested in these questions, I recommend my videos on the topics. You can find the link in the description below. In this video I'm going to talk about one of the worst kept secrets in the video game industry, the Xbox Lockhart, aka the Xbox Series S. The rumor for a second console from Microsoft that is set to launch alongside the already announced Xbox Series X started a while back in 2018, when head of Xbox Phil Spencer probably misspoke on the Xbox E3 stage and said the Xbox engineers are working hard on the next gen consoles. Consoles, plural. Ever since, there have been many different sources and leaks confirming the existence of the Lockhart, which is the codename for the project, and different insiders spoke about it. There are even hints in the source code of the OS, and the dev kits of the Series X apparently do have a Lockhart mode. But for those who haven't heard about it, the Xbox Lockhart is a second next-gen Xbox console, most likely to be titled Xbox Series S. It's a smaller, less powerful version of the Series X, just like we have it today with the Xbox One S and One X. Rumors have it that this system will be revealed in the next few weeks or months and will launch alongside its bigger brother. Since there are hundreds if not thousands of videos and articles out there that are covering a lot of leaks, hints and pointers for the existence of this console, I do not want to cover it in this video if it exists. It is real. I want to discuss with you, is it a good idea to have two different consoles at launch? What are the pros and cons for us gamers? And will a weaker console hold game development back? But first, if you watch this video and think you are enjoying what you see, then please consider to hit the like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to not miss out on future content. I put a lot of work into my videos and I try to grow my channel, and this one little click from you helps me more than you think. And if you know someone who might enjoy this video, please feel free to share it out. And now, let's find out if an Xbox Lockhart or Xbox Series S is a good thing for the gaming industry. So before we go into what are the pros and cons of a Lockhart, let's establish a baseline what we are talking about. Nothing has officially been confirmed, but there are a lot of rumors out there. The Series S is supposed to have the following specs. It will feature a 4 teraflop GPU based on the RDNA 2 architecture. The CPU will be just like the Series X, a Zen 2 CPU, maybe with a slightly reduced clock speed. It will feature the same custom NVMe SSD like the bigger brother, just with less space. My guess would be 500 gigs. It will have less RAM than the Series X, depending on which source you believe. It will have 8 to 12 gigs, but with the same bandwidth as the Series X. And it will feature the same velocity architecture than the Series X. And it won't have a disk drive. Now again, take all of this with a grain of salt. Nothing has been confirmed and I'm not claiming to have any insider sources. These are the rumored specs that have been leaked through different channels, and even if the specs will differ in the final product from these rumors, it does not change the discussion we are about to have. So why would Microsoft put out a weaker Xbox alongside its powerhouse, the Xbox Series X? Well, the obvious answer is price is key to the market. This Lockhart will most likely be sold for $249 to $299. If you are interested in how I come to the price conclusions, check out my video on the price of the upcoming consoles. Especially in these worldwide economic uncertain times, Microsoft can offer a cheap entry point to next-gen console gaming. Well, obviously Microsoft has made the decision to launch with 2 SKUs years ago, before the whole world went downhill. But launching with 2 options is actually quite a good idea, even in economic stable times. See, here's the thing, most console gamers out there are not hardcore gamers like myself and probably most of my audience. I dare say, probably 80% or more of the customers are casual gamers, gamers that buy 2 or 3 games per year. They are not as invested as the hardcore gamers in the video game industry. They don't read up on all the news, watch the technical comparisons of Digital Foundry and talk all day on social media about gaming. These customers just want to play a few games every once in a while. And for those, the entry barrier to next-gen gaming with a 400 to 500 euro or dollar price console is just too high. Especially since Microsoft is pushing for Game Pass. They can tell people for the price of $249 to $299 and a small monthly fee of $10 you can get access to hundreds of games, and no matter what genre you like, there is something in there for you. And even outside the casual gamer market, the Series S might be a great value to some gamers. There are a lot of hardcore gamers who simply can't afford a $400 to $500 machine, or some gamers might want to get the Xbox as a second console for a couple of exclusives they play every year on the Xbox ecosystem. So it's clear what the benefit for Microsoft is: give the customer a low-level entry point into their ecosystem. But what about us gamers? Well, a cheaper system is definitely good for our wallets, but the big contrapoint for the Lockhart is the question: is the weaker console holding game development back? Cause all games coming out over the next 6 to 8 years will have to run on this weaker console. So can developers harness the full power of the powerhouse console that is the Xbox Series X? In order to give a proper answer to this very good question, we have to talk about what will define next-gen gaming. According to some fanboys out there, all we need is a fast SSD, but the answer is obviously more complex. But let's start with the SSD. It will obviously enable significantly reduced load times and more. The quick access to the game assets on your drive will lead to different game design. Today, devs have to load everything that might happen in the next 30 to 60 seconds in the game into their RAM, cause it takes so long to load stuff from the mechanical hard drives we have. In the next gen consoles, this will be reduced, meaning everything that might happen in the game only in the next few seconds has to be in the RAM. So this will change the way how levels and games can be designed, but we do not have to worry about the Lockhart holding anything back, cause it will feature the same SSD as the bigger brother, except the size, which only means you can install fewer games on it. The next thing is obviously the CPU. The new CPUs in the next gen consoles will not only enable higher frame rates, but also give us better simulations, for instance of physics, AI, etc. But here we go again, same argument as with the SSD. We do not have to worry about the Series S holding anything back, cause it will have those Zen 2 CPUs cores too. And depending on which source you believe, they might even run on the same clock as the Xbox Series X. And even if the system turns out to be slightly lower clocked, it won't hinder basic game design elements. Adding up on that, the Xbox Lockhart will feature the same Xbox Velocity architecture, including things like variable rate shading, hardware decompression, machine learning, etc. etc. The major difference will be the GPU, and here is the thing: the GPU is responsible for graphics, and guess what can easily be scaled to different hardware? Exactly, graphics. Resolution can easily be reduced. 1440p for instance seems to be a good target, but you can also remove texture quality, details, etc. etc. Everyone who plays on PC knows how many graphic settings can be tweaked in the menus, so why not do the same on consoles? It won't influence the game design, meaning things that cannot be scaled, but graphics are easy to scale for different GPUs, and developers have been doing it for years. So basically games will be the same on the Xbox Series S and X, they will only look different. As you can see, the question if a weaker Lockhart will hold game design back can easily be answered with a no. There is one thing I want to mention though: all Xbox games will come out on PC as well. And well, many PCs out there do not have an SSD, a Zen 2 CPU, and none of them have the Xbox Velocity architecture. So I do hope that minimum PC specs for games will be increased in the next years, cause the lowest common denominator is now the PC market. Another thing I have read on social media and even on some of the not well informed media outlets is the statement: but if the Lockhart has only 4 teraflops, it is weaker than the 6 teraflops I have today in my Xbox One X, so why should I upgrade? Well, it is obviously not true, and here's why. The Xbox One X today uses a 6 teraflops GPU with a GCN architecture, and the Lockhart will use a 4 teraflop GPU in the RDNA 2 architecture, and this architecture is significantly more efficient. But what does that mean? Since I have seen a lot of weird statements out there, I want to briefly elaborate. A flop is a floating point operation, and the teraflop count gives us the amount of operations a GPU can do per second. So yes, a 6 teraflop GPU can do more operations than a 4 teraflop GPU, no matter the architecture, but a more efficient architecture needs less operations to achieve the same result. I will give you an example. Let's say the task is to make a cup of coffee with milk. With a less efficient architecture, you need 3 steps to do that. First you pour in the coffee, second you pour in the milk, and third you take a spoon and mix the whole thing up. A more efficient architecture only needs 2 operations to achieve the same result. You pour in the milk first and then the coffee, and you are done. Now, the same thing translates to GPUs. AMD specified that you can expect a jump in efficiency from GCN to RDNA 1 of about 50%, and the same goes for the jump from RDNA 1 to RDNA 2. Under real game conditions, it was shown that the jump from GCN to RDNA 1 only gave about 30% more efficiency, and we don't know about RDNA 2 cause it is not out on the market yet, but I expect the same result, another 30% increase of efficiency. So if you give me the choice 6 teraflops of GCN in the Xbox One X today or 4 teraflops of RDNA 2 in the Lockhart, I will definitely pick up the Lockhart's GPU, cause it equals round about 6.8 teraflops in the old GCN architecture. And with that I want to come to my conclusion. The idea of launching 2 consoles at different price points at the same time is new. The notion of the Xbox Lockhart holding game development back is obviously not true, so in the end it means that we gamers get options, and what is wrong with an option? It can only lead to more people getting into gaming, and that's something we all will benefit from. But I talked enough. What do you think? Is the idea of a Lockhart a good thing? Did I miss anything that speaks against the Series S? Let me know in the comments of this video below or hit me up on Twitter. I always love to discuss gaming with the community and I share a lot of opinions on my channels, so if you want to talk gaming just hit me up either here on YouTube or on Twitter. And please do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video then don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and consider sharing this out to other gamers. I would greatly appreciate it. But for now, thank you very much for watching, I see you the next time and game on!